All right, so I wanted to take a minute to explain to the ladies, especially, what sometimes the police or Freemasons, secret societies, different gangs and organizations, but mostly people who work with the police, some of the sketched out things that they'll do when they're trying to set you up. And this is for women, especially, like, if you've noticed that you're being trafficked or that you've noticed that like weird stuff is going on, if you're a homeless person especially, if you're moving around a bunch, what they will try to do is get you to meet with a guy in a hotel room, or they'll just try to get you to stay in hotel rooms with people, stay the nights with different people in hotel rooms, and they'll do dumb stuff like pull into a hotel that's completely empty, and instead of getting a room with two beds, they'll make sure that they only get a room with one bed. And they'll give you some dumb excuse as to why they could only get a room with one bed. And the guys will try to get you to sleep in the bed beside them. Ladies need to stop doing that. What they'll do is they'll try to get you to sleep in the bed beside them, and they'll throw an absolute fit if you do not sleep in the bed with them. They'll deliberately go out of their way to get a room that only has one bed. They'll even go out of their way to make sure that it doesn't have a couch in it or anything. No way for you to sleep anywhere other than the bed with them. And when this happens, you need to just be making beds on the floors, or just leaving, not even affiliating with that person, because that person's probably an undercover, but it's not an undercover normal kind of cop. It's like a little undercover rat, like a little informant bitch. And they work with the cops, and they have women trafficked. And this is how they do it. What they're doing is human trafficking. They can say that it's a sting operation for prostitution, or that they're trying to bust people for prostitution and drug dealing and all this and that. It's not true. That's legitimately how they've had people trafficked to absolute death, to literal death on the streets. So there's this weird hotel ploy that they do where they try to get these women to stay a night in a hotel with them, and they're really rude about it. They always want to try to get you to sleep in the same bed with them. And if you don't, like I said, they'll throw complete little temper tantrums and stuff. They're actually getting paid to do that. They have hidden cameras in those rooms. A lot of those guys will have laptops and things like that set up where they'll be recording the situation personally without your knowledge. And then throughout the hotel room that you're in, the police have hidden cameras, or the feds have hidden cameras. And whether you do adult things in that room or not, it's being live streamed. And if you partake in adult measures in that room, they will be recording it, and they will sell those videos that they're making. There is that rare occasion where it is a actual prostitution setup, and the moment that people act like they're going to engage, that police bust in and bust. That's very rare. Very rare. The majority of time, even if it's a play prostitution sting, whichever man is in the room with the female or whoever, they're generally going to accept the favors for real. They're really going to carry out that activity. No one is going to interrupt them or stop them. And, everybody's going to get what they want all their way around. And that those videos that they make of any activity that happens, those will circulate around for a long time. People will be able to make money off of them for a long time. And, those women who couldn't even afford their own hotel rooms for the night, didn't have places to live, didn't have any trustworthy people in their life to call upon or depend on, that they just had to meet some stranger and go with it. They end up being the victims to all of this, and some of them don't even realize it. And I'm going to say that 98% of the time, the guy is going to try to get you to sleep with him. And if you don't, he's going to throw an absolute fit. You're not going to be hanging out with him for longer than a night or three. And by the third night of not doing anything with somebody like that, they're going to be doing nasty things to try to set you up in other ways. Because they're going to be trying to rotate you out so that they can get somebody in who actually gets it on. And anyways, it's kind of bizarre, but this is how the police are actually trafficking some of the women out here. And it's something they're doing all across the nation. They're hoping that they can get witnesses and footage and all that stuff, but that they're just not going about it on the up and up. You know what I mean? They're doing it in shady, below the radar ways, and then whenever they can, they make it like a crime situation that they're actually going to pretend to do something about. But the majority of time, they themselves are participating in prostitution and they're exploiting you online without your knowledge. And it's a way that the system is allowed to prey on civilians and have them trafficked without their knowledge and basically entrap them. And also, it's a way to keep women in a cycle of control and abuse. It's a really severe way to be abusing women and to be abusing civilians. It's really sick. And I would just like to please all of you chicks who are maybe street type people, or just a little bit G, or you're running around here and there, could you please not just be giving it up to these dudes, because they are trafficking men, women, and children out here of all ages. They're really nasty about it. They don't deserve anything that you could possibly give them. Any of those dudes who are inviting chicks into a hotel and are being rude to them like that, they literally do not deserve anything from you. I would say that over 80% of the men in the entire nation do not deserve anything that you could possibly give them other than an STD. They're completely not deserving of any of your love, affection, or attention. You need to make them work a little harder for it. And I'm not talking about financially either. You ladies need to stop giving it up financially. It should be something that they can't even pay for, because they're so fucking disrespectful and disgusting. They're not just trafficking and hurting and setting up people who are already prostitutes, people who are bad or whatever. Not that prostitutes are all that bad. You know what I mean? They're setting things up to be malicious to everyone, to innocent women, to teenage girls, to everyone. There's no limit. They don't limit themselves. They do everything they can to disrespect, belittle, just completely destroy every female that they possibly can. And they've worked very hard to get compilations of videos of as many people as they possibly can. I can almost guarantee you that if you've gotten it on in a hotel room at all, or you've ever smoked anything or partied or whatever in a hotel room, your local law enforcement probably have videos of that, and they may have even sold them online. They could very well have you posted online and be selling videos and pictures of you. I'm just saying, it's not everyone, but how many women are there really? How many women are there really out here? There's not really that many. I'm not sure that there really are that many of us in the grand scheme of things. And when you have a bunch of perverts who run things, people in law enforcement who no one checks, no one puts them in check, they have no oversight, and they're allowed to do anything, and they're mostly a bunch of dudes, yeah, this is what it ends up turning into, is, people like me having to warn all of you ladies that when these guys are inviting you into hotel rooms, they're trying to set you up. They're trying to set you up to make you look like a prostitute, and they also have hidden cameras, and they will sell the videos of you, and you will not get a dime of it. You will just be used and abused over and over and over again like that, and you'll never get anything out of it. And the dudes, if you guys actually are selling yourselves, I would like for you to notice that you're hardly getting anything out of it. The dudes are literally giving you very little because they don't want you to survive. They don't want you to make it. They don't want any of the females to flourish and make it. They don't really have anything for you. You really just have to get it yourself and ask God for it. You don't need to be turning to any of these dudes. Like, it's so bad, you guys. I had to literally leave this fucking dude's hotel room in the middle of the fucking night. I called the police and told them what he did. And they said that it was my fault because I walked into the room. Because the cops were part of the setup. So even if you're in that situation, if you know that you're with a trafficker or you're being trafficked by the cops and informants, and that they're setting you up, and that they're pushing you through a fake sting operation and trafficking you and things like that, you won't be able to call the police about it because they're the ones doing it. Yeah. So just letting you know that they are basically committing a war against us out here, and please don't fall for their bullshit.